Yo, what's going on, people? I wanted to talk a little bit today about a huge miss that I had a few years ago in the investment world. Now, typically I make videos about stupid things going on within the internet, but today I'm going to titty twist you guys a little bit. So to get into story time, the year was 2021, which doesn't really feel like it was that long ago, but goddamn, it was 5 years ago. That's a whole ass half a decade ago. Absolutely ridiculous. Which, by the way, if you're just stumbling into my YouTube channel for the first time ever, happy 2026. And here's to wishing you and your loved ones nothing but health and love throughout the year. So around 5 years ago, I was going through a really bad breakup, to say the least. This thing was pretty damn ugly because I was just getting into a new job, I was breaking up with my girlfriend at the same time, and I was having to move my apartment all at the same time. It was a clusterfuck. So to say the least, there was a lot of things going on at the same time, but I managed. Fast forward a few months and I'm all settled into this new spot, and I find myself to be pretty damn bored. All of my friends that I grew up with or had at the time were either moved away, still at college, or just busy with life because we were full ass adults at this point. Also, like I said, I just broke up with the girlfriend at the time, so thank God for that, honestly. And video games were feeling boring, and my overall hobbies were just dwindling as a whole. So I had this master plan of, well, fuck it, I might as well get a second job to fill my time and make some money at it, right? No, I started looking around for a second job. I just needed something to fill up around 20 hours or so of my time. Up to that point with my previous job, I was already used to working like 60 to 80 hours a week, man. So I was used to working like a dog. So with that being said, I wasn't too scared about a possible burnout situation with my full-time job and my part-time job clashing because I was already used to those hours, right? So I applied around at some local restaurant gigs, mainly bartending positions because I was familiar with that field and I knew that I could be social with the guests and coworkers alike. Now, let me tell you, I applied to around 20 different spots before finally getting a call back from one of them. Now, these places range from sketchy ass bars that never cared to take your ID even though you would look like you're 12 years old, to high-end places where they serve shots that cost your entire bi-weekly paycheck. I was really just spamming my resume wherever I saw fit, and the place that called me back was a spot that was kind of in the middle of the pack. I would actually say it aimed more towards the fancy crowd, but it was a spot that I can certainly make some good reliable cash on the side. Now, let me know down in the comments if you have experienced this because the hiring process was a complete doozy. I must have went through like 3 different interviews and around 4 different trainings before I was even allowed behind the bar. I swear, I would have had an easier time getting a job at the Federal Reserve as a literal convicted serial killer than I did at this place. Now again, this was a fairly high status place, but it wasn't the cream of the crop. This wasn't one of those fancy ass restaurants where they would give you a pubic hair worth of food that was made from the Amazon rainforest and charge you like $9,000 for it. No, this was like a higher end spot, like a nice casual spot. Think of like Chili's times that by 2, and that's what this place was, if that makes any sense at all. Anyways, I will never forget I worked around 24 hours my first week of work, and we had this tip sharing process, which sounds horrible from the outside looking in, but with how much the restaurant was making, everyone was legitimately making bank from this place. At first, I thought like, wow, this must have been a busy ass week, but the weeks went on and on and on, and nothing really changed from this pay. I mean, my dick fell to the floor because I made around $1,400 in just 24 hours of work that first week there. At first, I thought like, wow, this must have been just a busy ass week, but the weeks went on and on and on, and nothing changed at all. Now, I know this is a video about my worst investment ever, but I will get to that. Just want to give a little bit of context around the background of this, but I wanted to stop, drop, and roll right here because this is a lesson on its own right here. When I was cashing all of these checks, my lifestyle did not inflate on a single dime from this place. Actually, things got cheaper because they were giving me free food at the end of the night for this. I'm a man where materialistic things don't really mean much to me. Name brands, new tech, really whatever it is, it just doesn't really mean that much to me. And I don't think it should matter to you at all. I mean, I get that we're all different humans and stuff like that, and we all have different interests, but man, like go buying a Gucci belt, like come on, bro. All that quote unquote new stuff is just a waste of money unless you really need to replace something. Becoming a consumerism final boss is why these companies make billions of dollars a year. Because you, the consumer, keep buying into their bullshit products that they're making around 20 times the money in profit on. So do yourself a favor, man. Keep cashing those checks, don't buy into useless shit, and live within your means and use the money correctly for investing or saving or replacing something that you actually need. Anyways, back to the story, which, by the way, if you're still here in the video, I really appreciate it, man. This whole story will wrap back into this horrible investment decision, so bear with me. So week after week after week, the money just kept rolling in, and this was all expendable income. Now, at the time, I really didn't know what to do with this money, and what I did might make you cringe a little bit. I decided to, well, do nothing with it. For 10 months or so while I was working there, I was just letting it sit in an account rotting away while inflation fucked it in the booty hole. And I'll be honest with you guys, I thought it was in an interest account, but it wasn't. It was just in a normal ass fucking checking account. But yeah, I digress. I guess that would be another investing failure right there. But anyways, in that 10-month stretch that I was at that job, I accumulated around $88,000, I think it was. This was around 1.5 times my yearly salary at my day job, man. Life was good at the bar, but I was ready to be done with service at the time. You know, it's just kind of one of those jobs that I feel like everybody kind of gets sick of after a while. But you know, looking back, I should have really stayed at this job because this whole 9-to-5 life can suck a big old cock sometimes. Stupid ass mistake by me, but I guess my cope is it's stable right now. So that's all I can really ask for. But anyways, I had this $88,000, and right as I was getting out of the service job, my car decided to take a big old poop on me. It just decided to basically stop working, and the repairs would have been more than what the car actually costed, right? Now, this is pretty significant because I was like, well, I have $88,000 of disposable income plus another job that pays me half decently, right? You know, my bills were covered and everything was looking good. So I went and checked the used car market, and bada bing, bada boom, the used car market was absolutely fucked. I don't know if any of you remember this, but a few years ago during 2021, the used car market was like more expensive than the new car market for whatever reason. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. But this was kind of right at that time where I needed a new vehicle to get around, right? Now, at the time, I started to look at new cars, used cars, really just whatever, right? I had a specific budget in mind that I wanted to kind of stick to, and I knew that I could afford, right? And at that time, my buddy actually just got a Tesla, and he was basically explaining the costs of, you know, upkeeping it, how much it costs per month, and also the incentives that come with the vehicle, right? Because he knew I needed a new car. And at the time, I was definitely on the fence about it. I knew jack shit about EVs, to say the least, and I was kind of just like meh on them. I didn't think they were that good of cars. But one day I found myself at the mall, and there's weirdly a Tesla dealership within the mall. I don't know if you guys have those where you live, but let me know down in the comments. But I decided to say, fuck it, let me go test drive one of these, and honestly kind of fell in love, and it was within my price budget with the incentives that the state and feds were going to give me. So here we are 8 minutes into this video, the worst investment of my life kicks in, and I'm still kicking myself in the nuts for it. So I got around $20,000 for the car at the time that I was talking about earlier, and the Tesla was costing around $51,000 at the time, not including the incentives. And yes, I know Teslas costed around $30,000 a few months ago. What about it? But I knew I was going to be using that money I got from the car minus around $5,000 that I held from taxes plus the incentives from the state and the feds. So overall, the remainder on the car was around $23,500. So I had two options at the time. Now, those two options were, one, I could just outright buy the car. I mean, I had the money, $88,000 sitting there plus some more savings, and I had more money coming in from my primary job. Or two, I could have taken a loan. I could have taken advantage of the interest rate that they had going on for the car. Now, at this time in my life, this was by far the biggest financial decision that I had to face, and I messed it up big time because I decided to just outright buy the car. Now, you're probably calling me a fucking idiot right now, saying, yeah, you should have just bought the car. Sure, right? Like, why would you take a loan and lose money on interest? Which, yes, on paper, you are 100% right. I don't have a car payment, and this is awesome, but let me tell you this. Tesla was offering a 0.49% APR. I would have had to pay them maybe $1,000 in interest, if that, over a 7-year amount of time. But my dumbass decided to just outright buy a depreciating asset. Now, before I sound ungrateful, I'm so grateful that I was able to just buy this car outright. People literally go to their grave with car payments. But man, what I could have done with that $23,500, I could have just invested it. A simple S&P 500 dump and I would have been good. But yet, I took the car. I could have just taken the payments. I could have afforded them very easily, but I decided to just not take the debt on. That $23,500 that I paid to them just basically dissipated because of how much the car loses when you roll them off the lot. I mean, shit, man, I was joking about a minute ago about Teslas dropping like 20 grand in price. So I think there's a learning lesson to be had here. I think the learning lesson that I want to come out of this video is just don't be like me. Look at the interest rates of things. The S&P grows around 10% annually, subtract around 4% to be safe for inflation, and you have around 6% gain every single year you have your money in there. If you have anything under 6%, I think you're better off just taking a loan on it. I'm going to be flat out honest. Now, obviously, depending on what it is, like obviously don't be financing your fucking McDonald's, you Klarna freaks. But overall, your money will just be better suited in the market if you are aiming for the long haul, which you should be. Like, yeah, dude, I get you can get mowed down by a school bus tomorrow, but it's still good to think about your future. It really is. And compound interest is truly the eighth wonder of the world. It is fantastic. So if you guys don't know much about compound interest, please go learn a little bit about it. It will change your life. You know, looking back, luckily, I did learn a little bit more about investing and just what to put your money into and the safe options versus the risky options. And I took the remainder of the money that I had and I dumped it into the stock market. But still, I wish I knew a little bit more about the options that I had before I just outright bought this car. Anyways, that's the worst investment I've ever made. I hope you guys took something away from this. Go check out some of my other content if you like. I make videos about all sorts of shit. Commentary stuff, story stuff. Shit, I made some body cam videos. I think I only have one because this is a relatively new channel. So if you're into any of that, please consider subscribing. And other than that, I will see you guys later. Peace out.